The moment you understand why extending the F-22 Raptor's service life matters, the entire future of American air power looks different. The US has the most feared air superiority fighter ever built. This jet is so dominant that no rival has matched its mix of stealth, sensors, maneuverability, and first-shot kill capability. Yet, the program to replace it, the 6th-generation NGAD fighter, is delayed and years from true combat readiness. This is the contradiction. The jet the world expected to fade out is now the one thing the US cannot afford to lose. Extending the Raptor's life is not just feeling good about an old plane, it is a national strategy. The emotional weight hits when you realize the stakes. Air superiority is not just a phrase. It is the oxygen for modern warfare. Without control of the sky, every soldier, every ship, and every system is more vulnerable. The F-22 exists to stop that vulnerability. It was built as the first line of defense against top-tier threats. Even now, no aircraft, not even the F-35, is designed to take its specific place in air dominance. When the Air Force reduced F-22 production years ago, they assumed NGAD would be ready in time. That assumption no longer holds true. Delays mean risk, and risk means the US must squeeze every ounce of capability out of the Raptor while new technology catches up. The problem is simple, but serious. There are not enough operational F-22s left. NGAD is not ready, and adversaries are fielding new threats faster than predicted. Adversaries, specifically China, are making heavy investments in stealth fighters, long-range weapons, and contested air zones. This creates environments where only the most advanced aircraft can survive. Without an effective bridge between now and the 2040s, the US could face a dangerous capability gap. This gap is what the extended F-22 is designed to close. The upgraded Raptor becomes the shield that covers the years while America transitions to the next generation. This is the transition where the F-22 stops being a legacy jet and becomes something closer to a Super Raptor. The upgrades already underway are not minor fixes. They directly enhance the jet's sensors, radar performance, electronic warfare, and situational awareness. The F-22 is now receiving advanced infrared threat detection sensors, far beyond what it carried originally. These systems allow the jet to see heat signatures, missile launches, and hidden aircraft long before they become threats. New networking systems allow the F-22 to share data with next-gen assets. Updated stealth treatments sharpen its survivability. Modernized pilot interfaces reduce the workload in complex fights.
Before we get to that, I need your help. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and help me out.
Every one of these enhancements signals a force preparing for the toughest future battles. The jet itself becomes a shield, detecting heat signatures, tracking threats, and triggering countermeasures automatically. This shift hits emotionally because it speaks directly to survival. These upgrades give the pilot critical seconds of warning. They give the pilot a chance that did not exist in the original design. That alone moves the F-22 into new territory, asserting a dominance that leaves no doubt. The F-22's upgrades also give it longer range through new, stealthy drop tanks. This solves one of its biggest old problems: limited mission distance. The Raptor can now reach targets it once couldn't, while keeping its low, observable signature protected. Additional signature management improvements help it survive in environments that are far more contested than anything imagined in the late 1990s. This matters because adversaries have improved their sensors, radars, and missiles. The original stealth profile was not built to face this new era. The upgrades reclaim that advantage, asserting US control. The leap in weapon range is also decisive. The AIM-260 JATM changes the rules. The original F-22 carried AIM-120s and AMRAAMs with solid range. But this new missile reaches targets far beyond anything the jet has ever used. The Raptor becomes a long-range hunter, striking opponents before they can react. The fear among adversaries is clear. Every opponent knows that once an F-22 locks on with a JATM, there is almost no escape. For the pilot, it means controlling the fight instead of surviving it. For the enemy, it means facing a threat that kills from outside visual range, outside radar comfort zones, and outside expected limits. The original design never imagined this kind of reach. The upgrade pushes the aircraft into a different class of lethality, asserting undeniable dominance. The most dramatic change is manned-unmanned teaming. The F-22 becomes the first fighter to command loyal wingman drones. This was pure theory when the jet was created. Now it becomes real. A pilot can send drones forward as scouts, decoys, sensors, or strike platforms. This multiplies everything: the range, the awareness, the weapons, the options. The pilot is no longer alone in hostile airspace. He has machines acting as partners, each one able to take risks that no human should take. This upgrade does not just extend the F-22's reach, it extends its identity. It becomes a commander, not just a fighter. The F-22 will not fly into the next decade alone. It will lead formations of AI-enabled aircraft that extend its eyes, its weapons, and its influence. The F-22 becomes not just a fighter, but a command node in the sky. This new ability to control loyal wingman drones takes the old idea of a single ship engagement and replaces it with a coordinated sensor shooter network. This shift is doctrinal. It forces rival air forces to rethink how they plan missions and allocate assets. Loss aversion plays a major role. Every nation fears losing skilled pilots in contested airspace. The upgraded F-22 solves that fear by pushing unmanned systems forward, turning dangerous missions into safer ones. It protects the human element by letting drones absorb threats, extend sensing lines, and probe enemy defenses before the fighter ever enters range. This is decisive, showing the enemy that their defenses can be easily tested and overcome. The cockpit and software modernizations reinforce this transformation. Open mission systems architecture, new helmet displays, advanced SAR mapping, electronic attack tools, and real-time threat geolocation take the F-22 far beyond its original avionics. The pilot now sees more, reacts faster, and fights with a level of information density that did not exist in the old design. The Raptor turns into a networked node, not a standalone jet. It becomes part of a larger combat web, reading and shaping the battle space through software-driven awareness. This shows the shift clearly. The Raptor is not a standalone jet, but a key component of US control. Software agility and cryptographic modernization are the quiet upgrades that make all the others possible.
Before we get to that, I need your help. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and help me out.
Increment 3.2b and continuous refresh cycles ensure the F-22 stays updated in electromagnetic and cyber warfare. This was barely considered when it was designed. The original Raptor was a closed system. Now it evolves in real time. These changes keep it alive in electronic battles where older jets would simply fade. Without these upgrades, the F-22 risked becoming a powerful but outdated relic, trapped by old code and rigid systems. With them, it becomes adaptable, asserting a digital dominance that crushes adversary efforts. The F-22 is receiving new sensor fusion upgrades, more robust survivability tools, and improved communication links that let it control collaborative combat aircraft. The consistency of these facts confirms that the upgrades are not hype. They are proven shifts in power. Lockheed Martin publicly highlighted the modernization effort, reinforcing that these are not minor tweaks, but major redesigns of the jet's combat brain. Experts call the upgraded version the Super Raptor because of how far its capabilities now reach. The F-22's design was so advanced at birth that it can still be pushed far beyond its original ceiling. This is not just authority, it is confirmation of US strategic certainty. Analysts note that delays in NGAD mean the Raptor must carry a heavier load in maintaining air dominance. The F-22 must dominate as long as the next-gen fighter remains in limbo. experienced pilots still describe the jet as unmatched in raw air superiority performance. These are consistent assessments from defense leaders who understand the cost of losing the high ground. Service leaders have publicly stated that the upgraded F-22 is expected to remain credible through the 2040s and potentially into the early 2050s. No sixth-generation fighter will be built in large enough numbers fast enough to instantly replace what the F-22 does. The Air Force cannot rely on a weapon system that does not yet exist at scale. It must rely on the world-class system it already has. The Air Force has fewer than 150 operational Raptors. Every year of delay in NGAD increases pressure. Every year of rising global tension increases the importance of a fighter that can actually go to war tomorrow. The upgraded F-22 becomes the safety net. Without it, the country risks entering the 2030s with a shrinking stealth fleet and no fully deployed replacement. Should a crisis erupt before NGAD is ready, the Raptor is the jet that would have to break through enemy air defenses, clear the sky, and open the path for everything else that follows. That is not a role you gamble on future technology. The narrative rises as you examine the Raptor's new place in the ecosystem. It was once a lone wolf built for air dominance. Now it becomes the leading edge of networked warfare. It uses new data links to coordinate with drones, fighters, and sensors across a massive battle space. It uses next-generation detection systems to spot threats before those threats ever know the F-22 is present. And with new long-range missiles, it can defeat enemy aircraft at distances that remove much of the danger from close-range dogfights. This layered capability mirrors everything the Air Force wants from NGAD, except it exists today and is already flying. When you look at everything together, sensors, weapons, drones, software, stealth, range, the pattern is undeniable. The Air Force is not just improving the F-22, it is dragging it past the limits of its birth era. The Raptor becomes something that did not exist before, a hybrid of fifth-generation stealth and new-generation networking. A fighter built for air superiority now gains electronic attack abilities, precision mapping, autonomous teaming, and missile dominance. It becomes a central figure in future combat instead of a museum piece. The emotional core of this narrative comes from recognizing what could have been lost. Without these upgrades, the F-22 would slowly fall behind emerging 5th and 6th generation threats. Its stealth would remain strong, but its sensors would grow blind. Its weapons would run short. Its software would age. Its range would limit missions. The aircraft that once dominated the skies would lose that edge. The Air Force saw this risk and decided not to let it happen. These upgrades are the solution to that looming problem, asserting American resolve. The upgraded F-22 still fills strategic gaps no other aircraft can touch. The first gap it fills is the most important one: pure air dominance. The upgraded F-22 is still the only fighter built specifically to own the air in the most dangerous environments. With its twin F-119 engines pushing it past Mach 225, its ability to supercruise without afterburners, and its thrust vectoring control, it moves with a kind of freedom that the F-35 simply does not have. When you are talking about controlling a sky full of threats, speed matters, agility matters, and climb rate matters. The F-22's air-to-air performance still sits on top of the planet. Pilots and analysts repeatedly confirm that in a real fight, the F-22 sets the terms, asserting full control. The F-35 is a powerful multi-role platform, but it is not designed to dominate an air-to-air battle the way the Raptor is. This leads directly to the second gap: stealth optimized for contested airspace penetration. Both jets have stealth, but the F-22 was built with air dominance at the center of that stealth philosophy. Its upgrades push that even further. The Raptor's sensor fusion, radar systems, infrared search and track, and electronic warfare suite keep advancing to counter modern threats. The result is a fighter that sees first, tracks first, and kills first, even against advanced stealth targets. The F-22's upgrades directly improve survivability inside the hardest threat rings, where enemy detection systems are strongest and mistakes are fatal. This exposure of adversary systems is a deep humiliation for them. The third gap the F-22 fills comes from its dedicated mission focus. The F-22 was not designed to do everything, it was designed to do one thing exceptionally well: secure the sky. That narrow focus is why it carries long-range air-to-air missiles internally, preserving stealth even while fully armed. The F-35, by contrast, is built to perform many roles. That flexibility is impressive, but it means the F-22 remains irreplaceable when the mission requires overwhelming air dominance before anything else is possible. In contested zones where the US must break enemy air power before projecting force, the F-22 is the jet that clears the path. Then there is the factor most people overlook: range paired with supercruise. The upgraded F-22's ability to move across vast operational areas without relying on afterburners is a strategic weapon in itself. In massive theaters, distance is everything. You need fighters that can respond fast, stay fast, and operate far from home. The F-35 cannot match the Raptor's combination of speed, reach, and persistence. The F-22 can cover huge distances while maintaining the energy needed to fight on arrival. That fills the mobility and response gap that emerges when your main theater spans oceans instead of borders, securing US dominance over vast areas. The F-22's upgrades also fill a force multiplication gap created by the rise of unmanned systems. The Raptor is evolving into a command node in the air with its new ability to control loyal wingman drones. It does not just fight, it coordinates. It extends its sensor reach through drones. It extends its offensive punch through drones. It becomes a manned brain surrounded by unmanned claws. This is a role the F-35 will eventually share, but the F-22 is already decisively stepping into it. Each of these gaps matters on its own, but together, they build a larger picture. The upgraded F-22 carries responsibilities that no other US aircraft currently can replace. These responsibilities become critical as great power competition grows. In a high-threat fight, losing control of the sky is not an option. If air dominance fails, everything collapses. This is where the emotional weight comes in. The F-22 is not just a machine, it is a safety net. It fills the fear gap between what modern threats can do and what US forces need to survive inside their range. When the world gets tense, the Pentagon quietly leans on the Raptor. There is urgency in that truth. New threats are rising fast. Enemy radar networks are improving. Long-range missiles are getting smarter. Stealth technology is spreading. The airspace of tomorrow will be more hostile than the airspace of today. And yet the F-22 continues adapting. Its sensors evolve. Its electronic warfare suite evolves. Its networking evolves. Its integration with unmanned systems evolves. This constant upgrading is what keeps it ahead of the curve and why it keeps filling gaps other jets cannot, ensuring total US control. The final gap is psychological. The F-22 represents dominance in its purest form. It symbolizes control, precision, and superiority. Keeping it upgraded means keeping that edge alive. When people see Raptors launching, they feel confident. The F-22's role is not just tactical, it is symbolic reassurance that the US still owns the upper tier of air combat. The upgraded F-22 fills critical strategic gaps because the future demands a fighter that can win air-to-air battles, survive inside contested airspace, react fast across massive theaters, command unmanned systems, and do all of it with stealth, speed, and overwhelming lethality. The F-35 cannot fill those gaps because it was built for a different mission. It is a multi-role aircraft, not a pure air dominance machine. As long as the US needs absolute control of the sky, the Raptor remains the fighter that turns danger into advantage. The upgraded F-22 is not just relevant, it is essential. It stands as the unmatched backbone of American air dominance. The upgrades to the F-22 have forced adversaries to confront a difficult reality. When a mature platform becomes harder to defeat than expected, every adversary planning a next-generation aircraft faces an uncomfortable truth. Launching too early could mean losing early. For years, adversaries believed time was on their side. They thought the US would retire the Raptor and shift focus, opening a window for their 6th-generation fighters to gain momentum. But the moment the US started pushing the F-22 toward a Super Raptor level, with advanced stealth, powerful sensors, new long-range weapons, and manned-unmanned teaming, the window slammed shut. That shock matters. It creates doubt in adversaries. When a platform that already dominated the sky becomes even harder to counter, development programs around the world suddenly feel rushed, fragile, or premature. No nation wants to deploy its next-generation fighter only to learn it is still outmatched, leading to deep national humiliation. The fear of being outclassed leads directly to loss aversion. Adversaries now face the risk of spending billions on a 6th-generation fighter that still cannot guarantee control over contested airspace. The upgraded F-22 eliminates any illusion that a weaker or incomplete design can be rushed into service. If the Super Raptor remains dominant, the cost of fielding a flawed 6th-generation fighter becomes enormous. No government wants its next-gen pride to be humiliated by a fighter that entered service years earlier and is now upgraded with cutting-edge technology. That fear forces delays. The technical reasons behind this shift are clear. The upgraded F-22 brings enhanced stealth that keeps it hidden. It adds superior sensors that help it see first and shoot first. It integrates new long-range missiles that make it deadly far beyond visual range. And it gains manned-unmanned teaming, allowing it to command autonomous systems that expand its reach and its lethality. This combination makes the F-22 a more dangerous threat than many 5th-generation aircraft under development by rivals. Rivals cannot ignore that. They must respond to it, and responding requires more research, more redesign, and more time. Defense analysts argue that delaying 6th-generation fighters becomes a logical move when the US strengthens the F-22 instead of phasing it out. They note that if the Raptor becomes more advanced than expected, adversaries must raise their own performance standards. A rushed rollout becomes a gamble with enormous consequences. This expert validation reinforces that the F-22's modernization does not just extend its life, it actively disrupts the timeline of foreign programs, asserting US strategic leverage. The F-22 is not a hypothetical design, it is battle-tested. An upgraded version of such a proven aircraft presents a threat far more serious than an untested prototype. Nations need extra years to refine stealth shaping, boost sensor performance, and upgrade electronic warfare tools. Every new feature added to the Super Raptor forces adversaries to reconsider their own designs. The upgraded F-22 challenges the identity of adversaries. It forces them to realize that releasing a weak or incomplete platform would damage their national image. To maintain status, they must avoid failure. The safest path is delaying development until they are confident their 6th-generation fighter can surpass what the Super Raptor brings to the sky. The fear of being seen as second-rate creates additional pressure to wait. Nations believed the US would move directly from the F-22 to its next-generation platform. But strengthening the F-22 instead creates a new timeline. Now, rivals must not only surpass the current Raptor, they must surpass the upgraded Raptor. If they delay too long, the US may have its own 6th-generation fighter ready, creating a 2-layer threat. This tension forces hostile nations into a difficult countdown. If adversaries know the upgraded Raptor will dominate contested airspace, they must design new fighters with even more advanced stealth, greater sensor range, and better weapons integration. That means more research complexity, more testing cycles, and more investment. Every layer adds time, every redesign expands cost, and every cost increases political pressure from within their own governments. Slowing the timeline becomes not just smart, it becomes necessary for survival. When adversaries see a fighter with the F-22's history gaining new capability, it signals that any early attempt to challenge US air dominance would fail. This psychological threat delays aggressive ambitions. It reduces confidence in rushing new aircraft into production. It forces planners to focus on defensive strategies instead of offensive ones. That shift alone is enough to slow development programs by years, showcasing U.S. strategic dominance. A new aircraft must surpass both the F-22's original strengths and its newly added capabilities. That means more complexity and more engineering challenges. Every improvement added to the Super Raptor widens that gap. Adversaries cannot bridge it quickly. They must stretch their timelines to close it even partially. Upgrading the F-22 forces adversaries into delay not through intimidation alone, but through undeniable practical pressure. They need more advanced stealth to survive it. They need better sensors to detect it. They need stronger electronic warfare to resist it. They need new missiles to challenge it. And they need more reliable unmanned teaming to match its new operational role. None of this happens fast. Every missing capability becomes a reason to slow down and redesign. The unexpected twist is that the F-22, instead of being a bridge to the next generation, becomes a wall that stops competitors from advancing too quickly. The upgraded Raptor is not just a continuation of American air dominance. It becomes a strategic tool that manipulates global timelines. It pressures adversaries into spending more, waiting longer, and rethinking everything they planned. The Super Raptor does not need to replace anything to change the future. It only needs to stay strong enough to force the world to slow down. This is the long-lasting strategic effect of the F-22 upgrades, asserting American control over the global timeline of air power. The F-22 was never outdated at all. The world just failed to catch up to what it already was. That single idea forms the heart of the entire story. Instead of being a relic from the 1990s, the F-22 keeps proving that its original design was so far ahead that even modern threats struggle to match it. The F-22 is not surviving because the Air Force cannot replace it. It is surviving because nothing today is good enough to replace it. The design was brilliant enough to support endless growth. The upgrades prove that assumption wrong. Instead of being a machine trapped in the past, it became a machine built for the future. Every modernization cycle verifies that the original thinking was correct. The F-22 is not a relic, it is a benchmark. It is not a machine clinging to relevance. It is a machine proving that true innovation ages slowly because it begins far ahead of its time. The upgrade cycle doesn't revive the Raptor. It reveals how far-sighted the original creators were. The F-22 Raptor was never outdated. The world simply never caught up. What you've seen is only the beginning. America's power is just getting started. On your screen is the next video. Click the video, it opens right away, and you'll watch US jets and technology strike even harder.